industries that she's been in. So good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Marlena. Thank you so much for having me.
It's awesome to have you on Cinco de Mayo. Are you excited to teach some salsa tonight?
Oh, absolutely. My absolute favorite. So
you wear a hat well. Okay, so tell us how long you've lived in New Hampshire, Lauren.
I lived in New Hampshire previously, and then for the last 9 years, actually, I lived in Tampa. So then I decided after I graduated from the University of South Florida to come back and try New England one more time. So it's been about 2 years now that I've been back.
Do you think you'll stay here?
I love it. So Florida's great and all, but you can't really beat New England. So,
and it's funny you should bring up Florida because we have a bunch of students from the Royal Palace Dance Studio coming back from Miami right now.
Yeah, they're coming back today. They just did a competition there, and actually one of our students, Ben Marshall, actually won top male for his very first competition. So we're very excited for him too.
That is really exciting. Can you tell everyone about Royal Palace Dance Studio? They might not know what kind of styles dances they teach.
Yeah, absolutely. Royal Palace Dance Studio teaches ballroom and Latin style dances. So anywhere from your waltz, tango, foxtrot, all the way to salsa, bachata, merengue, bolero. Pretty much you name it, we do it.
So kind of like Dancing with the Stars.
Yes, exactly. Just like Dancing with the Stars, what you see on TV. That is what we do.
Well, shout out to Ben for sure. That was great. And I know that Maya Tross, the studio owner, just won Dancing with the Stars locally with
Kathy Schmidt. Yes, she is the president of the largest law firm in New Hampshire. So congratulations to them.
What
as
a
well.
win.
I know,
that
exactly.
was an exciting night. It was nail biting, but
yes.
I'm glad they took home that win.
Yes, absolutely.
So, have you gotten a chance to speak to Ben at all about his win?
I haven't had a chance to yet, but he's going to be coming in tonight, so I'm very excited to congratulate him in person and to see how it all went.
Very nice. All right, so I guess we love talking about what are some of the things that keep you in New Hampshire. So what are some of the things that you do for fun before we get into all of the dancing? Is there anything you do?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I am an outdoors person for sure, so it's, like I said, it's a lot different than Florida, so I love being able to go out hiking and go camping and kayaking. But you can do those things in Florida, but it just gets way too hot. So that's definitely the summer and fall is what keeps me around here.
Nice, and that's coming up that season.
Yes.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your education background in Tampa.
Yeah, so I went to, like I said, the University of South Florida, and I graduated with public relations. I was definitely one of the typical millennials, and I probably changed my major at least 7 or 8 times, but finally I found a true passion in PR. So I graduated from there, and when I came here, I started working at an internet marketing company locally here in Nashua, and I had a really good time there. I loved it. I learned so much, and I've been doing PR, I guess, ever since.
Nice. What was your favorite industry so far before you came to the dance studio that you got to explore marketing with?
One of them was, actually, this is going to sound strange, but it was a plumbing company, and they were one of the funnest companies I think I've ever worked with, and they just had such high spirits, and their human resources department was amazing. They were so welcoming, and just absolutely loved working with them.
And have you had any obstacles, I guess? Can you tell us a little bit about, there's a lot of new rules to PR and marketing, and not everyone always sees what the millennials see as they're just coming out of college or learning, the new rules out there. So
yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people are definitely stuck in more of the old school ways, honestly, and marketing has definitely taken a huge turn, especially with social media and major changes with SEO that's happened just even recently and within the last couple of years. So, it's I think difficult having people get the courage to make the change because, they're so used to newspapers and going through the mail, but now it's all about websites and Facebook and Twitter, and it's getting them to understand how to communicate with their audience and figuring out where it is. So I think that's probably been the biggest struggle for sure.
I think that's a great word that you use, the courage to kind of take the step and invest in something that maybe it's a little bit unknown, but it's a huge asset to where everything is going.
Yeah, absolutely. Because people are making the change. People are starting to, and it's, again, making that first step into, diving in and seeing where their business really can go from there.
Nice. Now, what would you say is one of your favorite aspects of the world of marketing today? Would you say it's blogging or social media, email marketing? I really
do love social media because it allows for that almost kind of like that instant gratification. You put something out there and people are going to respond back to you. You can get that feedback immediately from your audience, the people that you want to hear from. You rely a lot on customer service and being able to provide, the best that you can for them and for your customers. So why not use those outlets to just specifically straight up ask them, what it is that they want, what they want to see happen or see change, and you can get that immediate feedback.
I like the idea that you brought up customer service because I know there's the Twitter platform that a lot of companies have moved towards where it's, very short amount of words back and forth, but sometimes problems can get solved right away. And there's just a very easy link to send and everyone is happy and there's no waiting online. There's no forms to fill out. So I'm curious to see if more small businesses will take that on because, of course, you kind of need someone managing that and watching that because it can get out of control if there isn't that instant response time or a reasonable response time.
Yeah, definitely, because it can also be slightly dangerous if you're not monitoring it. Or for other businesses, the fact that it is so short and sweet and to the point, it's making sure that you're also wording it correctly because I know that some things can get misinterpreted or some companies just don't necessarily use it appropriately. So it's also a matter of making sure that you're using it correctly as well.
What would you say is one platform every small business owner can jump right on to?
I would say Twitter for sure. Because, you have Facebook, but there's a lot of rules and changes that have happened, and they're happening all the time. But Twitter definitely is one that you can just immediately start. You can go in and find, your audience that's in, whether it's, locally in your area or if you're something, that's more of like an online base, you can reach out to plenty of people through Twitter. Facebook is a little bit different because you might not always reach the people that you want to. So it's hard to kind of get started when you're starting from scratch on there. But with Twitter, you can kind of just jump right in and start communicating and connecting with people. You have Pinterest and Instagram, but they're very specific in I wouldn't say specific in industries, but specific in audience.
Definitely the audience and the demographics. And I think Twitter has that older demographics as well as the younger demographics. But I do agree with you that Facebook has a lot of changes and it's definitely moving towards a paid platform, even though I don't know if you'll ever have to pay to use it per se, but they definitely have very bluntly put out there that they're making business owners pay for boosted posts or paid advertising to see their right demographics see that post. Only about 10 to 12, maybe 15% if you're lucky of your likes on a business page actually see your post on a daily basis. So that's, I think jumping on Twitter is a great idea for business owners, even though a lot of people have gotten comfortable with Facebook because it's a little bit more of a social platform that maybe their kids were on and they're moving away from, and so they're learning about it. But Twitter, you can just jump right on and do some advanced searches for the industry, for the demographics, for the location. Right,
exactly. And a lot of those platforms too that are out there, just like LinkedIn and even Twitter and Instagram too, they're now, pushing more towards like the paid advertisements or the paid pushing. But I personally believe that you still have a better chance of reaching more people with those than you would on something like Facebook just initially starting off.
Definitely, as Twitter's like live streaming, so it's as you post, it's being seen. So it's whether or not if your end user is actually on there to see it.
Right, exactly.
Awesome. So what would you say about blogging for business owners? Do you feel like everyone should have a blog, or only if you can commit to it, or how often?
Blogging is so unbelievably important, and it's not only for SEO purposes, but it gives your business a chance to further explain, or keeping the updates happening. So when you go on a social media platform and you post, you want to keep it short and sweet. You don't want to write an entire novel. That's where you're going to want to post or share a link that goes back to your blog, and then you get to further explain, showing pictures and maybe what's happening. Like, for instance, Royal Palace, for our our blog, we would post something about the competition, but we would share a link and bring it back to the website. It's really, again, super important for SEO. If you're trying to get that boost up there on Google, you need all the backlinks that you can to help, so that you're not over spamming or anything like that. But
a lot more.
Yeah, I think so one tip that Lauren really did say is really focus on where your audience is, and there's great stats out there of who's on Twitter, who's on Facebook and Instagram, and right now Instagram is definitely more of the teenagers and kids going to college and everything, which is great because there are beautiful photos and they could be used through you can use them in other aspects of social media, but it's all about taking an information and then putting it out differently on each platform. So even if you feel that you want to post one thing that day and you want to just post it all day, like you're on the radio show today, just think about different ways that you could post it, where on Facebook maybe you can have a photo, because photos do really well on Facebook with a little description, but then on Twitter you can have a link to go to the Listen Live button. So there's different things where if your audience happens to be following and really engaging with you on all different platforms, they don't feel like they're being hit with the same message. And if they are being hit with the same message, they're being asked to do something different. Because just by putting a message out there, you really need that action. So that's what we're excited for this show, because we want to give you actionable advice. And definitely sometimes people need to be told what to do. And when you ask people to retweet on Twitter, it ends up doing way better than just writing something. But you want to be able to use that sparingly, just like on Facebook like this. If you agree with it, comment if you don't. That starts to spark a lot of conversation. You mentioned that a post you did really well was about tattoo and piercings. Is that correct? Tell us a little bit about that.
It is. It's very interesting. Was it last week, Tim, or a couple weeks ago? Oh, 2 weeks ago, we talked about tattoos and body art in the workplace. And as Glynis and I put it out there in the social media, and I shared it on every platform and group that I belong to as well, it's really sparked some interest, and it's very intriguing to see the different opinions on that. And some that agree, some that don't agree, and I think it's important, like you said, to comment on those. And I think everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and how they use the information is entirely up to them. But it's incredible, the people that it's reached and the conversations that it's brought up. And I will probably say this is probably one of the topics that I posted about that has gained the greatest conversations.
I bet you received some likes from that as well, like new likes for your page. And it just positions you again as like an industry leader, someone who's like taking something controversial, which could be risky. Mm-hmm. But as long as you're monitoring that conversation, I think that you're going to have a lot of success there, because people do want to have their opinion. Do you have any feedback on that, Lauren?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that, especially like if you're blogging or if you're sharing something on social media that's like that, it's okay to sometimes branch out past what your industry may specifically be. It's okay, because maybe sometimes you just need to, even if it's, you have a particular industry that might not necessarily be as exciting for some as others may be. It's okay to try and generate the communication with your audience in other ways, in other topics that they might be interested in, for sure. And I would say along the lines of what we were saying before about using specific outlets to reach those people, is that definitely the millennials for sure are much more visual people. They're looking to see things, the beautiful images that they have on Instagram or something, and that's why Marlena was saying that, there's a lot of feedback that happens on Facebook, whether it's a photo, but they're also looking for simplicity, something that's straightforward and to the point. So again, on your blog, how you were kind of wondering, are you doing damage, or what is it that we actually need to be talking about? Using those frequently asked questions are super important, and just making it as simplified as possible for sure.
So it's interesting that you say that, because on one of the groups that I posted on LinkedIn, a colleague of mine said, Michelle, this is great that you're doing podcasts. Love it. Love to hear more about this topic, but I don't have 40 minutes to listen to the podcast. Can you sum it up?
Oh, so I love that you just said that. Yes.
That was awesome, because you know what? It made me think about, right, not everybody has the time to listen to the podcast. So it gave me that opportunity to just summarize it, and that generated some more conversation, which was fantastic.
So what we do for our clients is a lot of times when we have them on a TV show or a radio show, we're able to use YouTube to kind of either shorten it up and add bookends, and take 1 to 2 minute segments of what we're talking about. Maybe call it what's up with Twitter, and then talk about it, and then kind of have a bookend, so it's a little shortened clip, so you're asking the question and you're getting a response. Another way to do that is to post the full 40-minute segment, but put a blog post together that summarizes it. So some people like to read it, some people like to watch it, but there's definitely different ways that you can do it, because I know you're on here every week, so it might be hard to cut up each thing, but sometimes you can post the full segment, put some bullet points on the main things that you got from it, and then maybe even pull out a segment or two that you put on Facebook and that you put on Twitter, and you just ask a question and then be like, watch this video for a response, because at work now people have their little earbuds in and they can listen while they're working. Not everyone can work that way, right. But when they're looking for an HR question, that they could definitely get that response, and it's just a great way, again, to just be that industry leader. It's like so exciting, because not everyone in the HR, especially because people are afraid to say things, but a lot of things people are asking these questions. So if you're providing even just a little part of that answer, people are going to look to you for more and more, and eventually become your client, even if it takes years. And it happens all the time.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. So not to make this about HR, of course, but
we love it.
Those that are afraid to ask the questions, that's where your problems are going to be. So they should be asking questions. If you got a concern, ask the question. Right?
That's interesting, yes.
Yeah. If you don't ask, you don't know.
That is really interesting. I like that because I could see how people are like, if I don't ask, then it will go away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it doesn't go away, unfortunately.
And there's so many ways to reach people now. I mean, at the end of the show, we'll be like us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and list all these things, but people will find the platforms that they feel most comfortable with. And if they don't want to tweet it, because we were talking earlier in the show about customer service and Twitter and how you could get a response right away. But I remember, there was, I'm not sure if it was like a GPS question or something, but sometimes you're like, I don't want to ask all of my friends this question, because everyone can see it on Twitter when I post this. So there's also a way that you can use the message button on Facebook and on Twitter, as long as it's active. So we could show you how to do. A little bit more about Royal Palace Dance Studio.
Right. Again, we are a ballroom and Latin style dance studio. We have a mixture of various dances like the waltz, tango, foxtrot, salsa, bachata, merengue, and much more. But we do have an assortment of different services that we provide, whether it's going to be your private lessons, group lessons, a chance for you to get fit in our fitness classes, meet new people, try new things, and we do lots of night out events. We host theme parties. You can rent out our studio. I mean, it's kind of endless, the things that we help people out with.
And you're open 7 days a week?
Yes, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. We work with your availability, so...
Lauren is very busy dancing.
So
Yes.
is there something special going on for Cinco de Mayo?
Today, well, actually, we had a couple events this past weekend that we were...
We wanted to lead up to the party.
Yes, exactly. So we have some group classes tonight. We are doing a foxtrot and Argentine tango, so we definitely welcome anyone in the area to come and join us for Cinco de Mayo to get a little dancing in, a little tango, perhaps.
What would you say for those people like me who have 2 left feet and are quite clumsy but love to watch like Dancing with the Stars and think, oh, maybe I
You're
can
our
do that
best client.
someday?
Yes, exactly. You're the best client because you don't have bad habits that we need to break.
Really?
Yes, exactly. So, it's no partner, no experience is ever required. You can come in and start from scratch, and you get a chance to try out the different dances that we have, and we can figure out your goals and what it is that you want to achieve out of it. And then from there, you can, start with any of the classes that we have, whether it is group or private, and we can kind of work with you and just keep on going until we achieve your goals, because that's what we're here for. We're here for you guys. So
Yeah, Lauren and I get to teach on Thursday nights together. It's such a blast, and it's samba and East Coast swing, and we always get brand new walk-ins, and some people come with ample experience, so they'll come into my class that's intermediate, or if they're brand new and they've never danced before, then they go in Lauren's class, and we have other teachers, certified dance professionals that are typically on hand teaching private lessons, kind of coming and going, working with students. But if you come early, we could show you things. But definitely those group classes, it still feels like you're getting individualized attention because we're able to work with you one-on-one while everyone is dancing the step that we just asked them to do. And it feels like once you're there, you're family. So
yeah, absolutely. It's super fun, upbeat. You get to meet new people. We do a lot of partner changing, so you get to maybe see what a lead should feel like, or maybe what a lead shouldn't feel like. But that's all part of the game, and it's super fun.
Nice. And do you get all dressed up, or is it yoga pants and?
It's casual attire, so you can, if you feel like getting fancy, then by all means, please do.
Yeah, it won't be me.
We have some great date nights that come in for private lessons, and you could tell they're like heading out for dinner or coming in, and it's a lot of wedding couples. Like they say, it's their most enjoyable thing that they get to do together, because it's not picking out the flowers or the invitations, but like they're looking into each other's eyes and they're learning the dance of love, which is rumba. So it's really intimate time together, quality time, where they're not talking about bills or
yeah, exactly,
what flowers are going to be at the wedding, and color schemes that can kind of stress one of the parties out. So
yeah, it's kind of therapeutic a little bit for them.
But
so.
People definitely come in gym clothes as well, and people come and stay for their fitness classes that we have as well. But I would say like a little heel is always the best, even if you're going to wear jeans or stretch pants for the ladies, just because you're going to get that Cuban motion.
Oh yeah,
that
definitely.
You can really move your hips.
I don't have any hip motion.
Oh, you do. We just need to tap into it. That's all.
Boy.
You just wait. Now we should be teaching a lesson now that the camera's on.
Yeah,
live.
exactly.
Uh-oh.
Yes,
girls.
but the key is they said how there are the different levels.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of it. So I wouldn't walk in intimidated, because I, like you, have the 2 left feet. So
Right.
we
We have no bad habits.
So
that
we're the
problem?
easiest to teach, and at the same time, though, we could take a class where it's not the experienced tango dancer who just walked through the door and makes you feel real small because you can't do that yet.
Right.
So I like that. That's the best part.
I think Tim and I might be hooked.
Hey,
This could be fun.
This could be fun.
Students will love you because they know who's new, so they're like, "Oh, we can show you."
Be fighting over me.
I have to say, Maya Trust, I think it's Villa Augustina. His daughters go there. He's the studio owner, and he taught in every single grade a different dance. And he had the second graders doing the tango with roses in their mouth, and it was just the cutest thing, like
Yeah.
seeing the the partnered up dances, and they were just in a circle doing the basic tango step, but they were in character. They were committed, and that's kind of what we teach there. It's like, you know, it's not just the steps, it's really committing to the style, the timing, and the character. You know, what role are you going to play as the lead? What role are you going to play as the follower? Even if you want to switch roles, that's fine too. But I think that's like when the fun really happens, when you're like really letting your hair down.
I mean, I could outdo what Billy D. Williams tried to do on Dancing with the Stars, but I also wouldn't take on the people from Glee and who do music videos. I mean, I'd want something in between there.
Yeah, yeah. So this is an interesting marketing tool, this conversation that we're having right here, because, you know, it's something that I look at websites and so forth, but this conversation is like really making me think about getting some dance shoes and coming on over the boardwalk.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what we do is, you know, we might not tangibly hand you a magazine or something, but we can show you, you know, what the possibilities are and what we can provide for you.
Nice.
And it is a great networking tool as well. We back in the day, I love saying that.
That was so
as a
far
millennial.
ago for you.
But we had like a Tuesday night networking where, like, before we started the dance class, you got to say a little bit about who you are and what business you have. But when you do those partner changes, as you get more comfortable with the steps, you can start having conversations, because we play the music and you try out the combination that we just taught. And as you get more and more comfortable, that you could keep your chins up, your eyes are engaged, you're talking, and that's when you really get to learn about all the different people, where they come from, because we have people from Maine, Massachusetts, from the Seacoast area, so people definitely travel to take classes, and they're all very amazing professionals. So
wow. So it's interesting too, because, you know, I've been married like forever. Sorry, honey. But he doesn't like to dance. And I love to dance.
But you just don't know until you take that first lesson together, and it might be hard to get him in there.
I don't think I could get him in there. So that, you know, leads to the next question is, you know, how do you get over the discomfort of like having someone as a partner that's not your partner, that's, you know.
I would say a lot has to do with confidence. And that's what a lot of people come in for too, is that they want to be a little bit more confident in what they're doing, and being able to go out there and meet new people and be able to, you know, dance with someone that's not their significant other. But it's just all about being confident, and that's really what we work
and
with
we
a lot
take
of
it back to like exactly how you ask someone to dance, and letting the ladies really trust the gentleman who's leading, just because like all of that connection and how you know what to do as a lady, it all comes from the leader. So there, you know, there's 4 points of contact, so you are touching palm to palm and your back and your hand, but that's like so you know what you're going to do. And I think just like getting to know each other and kind of easing into it and having those conversations before and after class, you start to get to know everyone. But that's definitely understandable. Like sometimes we start in like a two-hand hold or just doing footwork, just so the more you get confident, the more you like are excited to have a leader lead you, and a leader is excited to lead the lady and feel like, I just led her into 2 turns and a crossbody lead, which sounds like gibberish to you live listeners, but it gets really exciting, and people might call things different just because that's how they remember it. But we're always like, take a video, write it down. People are kinesthetic learners, some people are visual learners, some people are auditory learners. So everyone has a different type of learning style, but I
think the most interesting thing was said, though, about 5 minutes ago. It's another way of networking. And it seems to me one where you would really bond, quite frankly, with new business contacts. I remember golfing with the local general manager of the cable company in Nashua many years ago. The only reason she was taking up golf was to network. That too many times the boys are out there making deals on the 9th and 18th holes, and she took lessons during the years that she was here in Nashua, learned to golf so that she could network with the people at all of the various cable company functions and things that she goes to during the year. And I'm sure out on the dance floor too, if you were dancing, one of you ladies, and the guy, like you say, really got it, oh, I did that move followed by that move, you now have like a special bond that's there when it comes to talking business 14 days later over the phone or on the computer.
There's that trust that's
Yep.
instantly there. And I think, our conversation today was all about online marketing, but you still have to maintain those relationships offline. So what a great way to have that conversation on the dance floor and look so good doing it. We all started somewhere, so it's like we all had to grow that confidence. But I definitely have to say, when I go to Boston, I could walk in and do salsa dancing with someone, and it's not uncomfortable to dance with anyone because you know how to dance. And when you travel to Miami or wherever your business trips are, there typically is Latin and ballroom dance studios or fundraisers or galas, so it definitely comes in handy.
Absolutely.
You might have to schedule a networking event at the Royal Palace Dance Studios.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
Maybe bring on the leadership team, huh?
That would be so much fun.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
So if you want to check out more about the Royal Palace Dance Studio, just hop online to www.royalpalacedancestudio.com. So there's 7 days a week classes, and we're so excited that Lauren came on the show this morning to tell us about her background, because she is just so insanely knowledgeable about the new rules of marketing and PR and the direction that this world is heading in. And I think she's taking the dance studio in a great direction with it, because she is amazing on the dance floor and knows how to work it off the dance floor as well. So
thank you very
for
much.
having us. So what is up with your next show? Michelle, do you have a guest that you'd like to share?
Actually, Glynis has that schedule, so I'm not quite sure. I was kind of hoping you might hit a little bit more on the blogging and how to blog if we have a couple minutes still, Tim?
Yeah, at least 2 full minutes. Yep.
Okay. So, I was hoping you might be able to hit a little more on the blogging and what should be included in that. And just so, I'm not a writer. I don't like to write. So, I hear these things and I try to do them, but I don't do them so well. So what are some good tips that you can give to people, who aren't quite at that point to hire somebody to do it, but are getting close because it's very overwhelming and scary?
Yeah, definitely, because it's a new thing to a lot of people. So first and foremost, I would say every business has frequently asked questions from their audience. Start there. Even if you're just doing it once a week, you do one question and you kind of elaborate on it a little bit more in a simplistic way. I would say start there. Then once you start to, get a little bit more comfortable with it, and you can start taking maybe doing it twice a week, and having one being a frequently asked question, or and then the next one maybe being something more about news and what's happening with your specific business. If it's an event that's coming up that you're participating in, or someone in your company just got a promotion or something, and kind of just building on it a little bit each time, so that way you can really ease yourself into it, so as to not overwhelm yourself, but at least you're talking about something that and something that you are comfortable with, instead of just looking at the screen and saying, what do I write about now? Ask your audience. Use those social media outlets and ask them, and just say, hey, what is it that you guys are